Okay, how is everyone today?
Good.
Okay, so today I'm going to ask for lots of interactions so we can help each other out with concepts, okay? Let's see. Oh, one thing I want to talk about before we get into that. A couple reminders. So tomorrow at 8:30, our morning huddle is going to have Sam Jackson, who's the Director of Innovation and Technology with the Georgia Legacy Group. He's going to be coming in just for us and, teaching a class on Facebook ads. So how to post them and best practices for them. Okay. That obviously that will be recorded and it'll be uploaded on the YouTube page, which by the way is perfectly organized right now and completely updated. Oh, outside of Candace's class last night. That's the only thing missing right now. We'll have that up today. So Sam is coming in from 8:30 to probably about 9:15 tomorrow. From 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock tomorrow is Andy and Leslie's 36 Touch workshop. So please make sure you're able to attend that. Candace, did we decide to postpone tonight because of the weather?
Yes, we're going to I'll send out dates to see what works best for everybody, maybe next Tuesday, but we didn't want anybody to have to brave thunderstorms. And so we thought the get together at Kona Grill will be better when the weather's nicer.
All right, cool. So no function tonight. Okay, one other class that it kind of got lost in the shuffle last week because of Mega Camp, but I was asked to teach a class from Robert and Mignon, who are the other two PC coaches for Georgia Legacy Group. And so I volunteered to teach a class Wednesday at 4 p.m. in this room. Okay, and that will be on systems. Okay, at least for the initial month or so, at least for that, it will be systems. What I mean by systems is every single thing that you guys are finding yourself doing more than one time, which is virtually everything that you're going to do in real estate, there should be a system for it. So for example, you should have a system for getting a referral. What I mean by a system is when a certain activity happens or a certain thing happens, let's say I get a referral. The next step that happens is this. The step after that is this. The step after that is this, right? So we're going to I really want you to get systematized because that will save you time and energy, right? Which is money in the long run, or really even in the short run. So we're going to start tomorrow at 4 o'clock in this room. And we will probably have people from the other two market centers in there, and we will be recording those sessions so you guys can go back and look at that stuff later. Okay, so that's tomorrow at 4. Candace, you were waving your hand. You want to add anything?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it every Wednesday at 4?
That is the plan. I'm actually going to be out of the office not tomorrow, but the following Wednesday. So I might change it up one week, but the plan is for it to be every Wednesday at 4. Yes.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm really struggling. Like I went in yesterday to get a calendar to kind of plan my months, my September.
Yep.
I couldn't find one. It wasn't quite ready, and I book out. And then when I hear these great classes, and generally 3 out of 4 times I'm scheduled, and so I'm struggling. I want to make time, but then it requires me to go back and move people around. And if I just knew there were set windows, I know that's awful, but am I the only one that's struggling with overbooking or double booking because I want to get to a class and I don't find out about it until I'm booked out for September?
Doesn't that feel pretty cool as a business owner?
It does, but at the same time, it's frustrating when I want to be. I mean, systems are what I need the most.
Yeah,
I think it's imperative.
So my response to that would be embrace that. I mean, look, okay. You have created enough opportunities that you are time is starting to become a limited resource, which is exactly the way it should be. right? And when you have multiple things that want your attention at a certain time, you have to determine which one is either more valuable for you at that moment, or which one is going to be recorded and which one isn't going to be recorded, right? So if you have a listing appointment at 4 o'clock tomorrow, go to it.
Recorded?
What?
Will it be recorded? I'm sorry, you're breaking up, so I'm struggling a little bit over here.
Everything I do will be recorded.
Okay, cool.
Now, that begs another question, which is, do you have in your calendar some other time where you sit in front of your computer and you learn whatever you need to learn that you didn't choose to go to? So for example, you have access to the MegaCamp platform. Are you spending half an hour a day going back and watching a video, or 20 minutes a day going back and watching a video? So if you're going to get to the point, which a lot of us are getting there, where we have multiple things that want our time, we have to be comfortable with making choices on what is the most important, or what is the thing that can't be dealt with later. And we probably need some time on our schedule for projects, and we probably need some time on our calendar for learning, right? And that stuff should be treated with just as much intentionality as visiting with buyers and sellers. Okay. Remember, and don't think I'm saying that you shouldn't go to the class that I'm teaching. Okay. However, a good rule of thumb is, if it's recorded, go do something else that can't be done at another time. However, attempt to schedule it on your time. So like, I had a guy that wanted to meet with me today. And he said, can I meet with you at 3:30? 3:30, I'm busy. So I said, can you meet with me at 4? He says, yeah, no big deal. Right. But a lot of us would say, oh, 3:30, and they would skip out on some meeting, or they would blow off something else. Make an attempt to make everything happen on your schedule. If you ask, if you push back once or twice, almost 100% of the time, you'll get what you want. Right. Okay, well, I'm available at 4 or tomorrow at 2. Neither one of those are okay. Well, how about tomorrow at 4:30? Okay, that works. It's right into my schedule. Makes sense? Now, as you're getting more and more busy and more successful, remember, successful people are not made by the things they say yes to. They're actually made by the things they say no to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I say no to a lot of things, right? We're not going to be able to do everything we want to do. It's just that's just the way it is. Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys, for coming today. We got a couple of faces we haven't seen in a little while. I appreciate you being here. Just a reminder, while we got a couple folks here, every Monday night from 6:30 to about 7:30, Candace is running a dual career workshop. We're usually giving you the topics as early as we can. It is available for anyone, of course, whether you're full-time or not full-time, but we're starting to get some good feedback on that. So Candace, first of all, thank you very much publicly for your preparations and for your commitment of time. And I appreciate everyone coming, and please make that a practice if you're getting some value from that, okay? Let's see. All right, let's move into our topic for today. Topic for today is surprise and delight. Does anyone know what that is? Ebony, I know you know what it is. All right, what is surprise and delight, Ebony?
It's like when you go out of your way to do something nice for someone. It could be a client. It would help if it be a client, you know, kind of just to brighten their day, change their life, be on top of their mind. They love it. And it's always, well, most of the times it's random, surprise. Like, here you go. The more you know about your client, the easier it is for you to come up with something to surprise and delight them with.
Oh, I love the last thing you just said. That's really, really good. So for example, let's say, let's say one of your clients has a baby. Okay. If you know that they, let's say, are a big Braves fan or something, then you could get them a Braves onesie rather than a plain onesie, right? Or if you know they like a type of wine or a certain kind of beer or something, you could get them what they want rather than something random, right? So the only way Ebony's going to be able to pull that off in a unique and individualized way is if she knows that information, right? So remember, the point of every single phone call that you make is to get data and or update data, okay? The more data you have on your people, the better you'll be able to serve them, okay? That right there is probably worth the price of admission today, okay? Now, surprising and delighting. Ebony, can you give me an example of how you surprised and delighted somebody in the past?
Yes. I have still a warm client that I've been
working with. Be a client eventually.
Exactly. Like, I've known her for a long time. I always pop in with her. So I think it was maybe it was last summer. It was really, really hot outside. I know, from the past, she likes ice cream. So I went to Brewster's, got her whole family. She has 3 girls, 1 boy, it's her and her husband. Went to Brewster's, stopped by her house, just dropped it off. And she's just like, oh, she wasn't home. Her daughters were home. But they were so happy because it's just like, out of all the people, you thought about me. And it was so random because I hadn't seen some of her daughters in a long time, but I remembered what it was that they wanted to, just off of conversation. And we speak all the time. Sometimes she just checks in on me as well. But yeah, I just stopped by, gave them some ice cream, and they loved it.
I love that. And what was their reaction? Like, how did they respond to that?
It was kind of like they were just taken aback. At first, I'm just standing there at the door and I'm like, I didn't want anything. I'm just coming by, it's hot, to drop some ice cream off. And one of the daughters, she's just like, oh my gosh, like, thank you. Like, they were just so happy. And it cost me like $15, but just to see the look in their eyes and see that happiness, it was worth it for me. So even if they're not a client for another 6 months, I'm fine with that. I did something that no one, has done for them, and sometimes all we want is for somebody to think about us and to celebrate us, even if it's in the smallest of gestures, and they appreciated it.
I love that. You actually, I'm going to take a tiny sidebar for a second. You prompted a thought in my mind. You said, like, even if she doesn't become a client for 6 months, right? Guys, we're playing the infinite game. We're going to be in the business for a long time. The people that we're courting right now, we're going to be helping their grandkids soon. Yep. Right? So, like, I have to go pick up a check today from a closing that happened, I think, 2 days ago of, interestingly enough, the buyer, I helped this particular buyer buy in 2009. That was a transaction that I met Megan Dwyer at, who brought me to Keller Williams, right? So I'm incredibly grateful for that. And now she's bought again, or sold that place, which I helped her with, bought again in an area way outside of my comfort zone, and just sold that place. That happened 12 years ago, you guys, right? So we're playing the infinite game. It's not just about the next check. It's about building relationships for the long, long, long haul. Okay. Make sense? Okay. So that's thank you for sharing that, Ebony. First of all, it doesn't even have to cost that much money, really, right? We talked about in the meeting earlier, we talked about this phrase that Peggy Connors, I've heard Peggy Connors say, which is, and I don't know the exact phrase, maybe one of you can help me, but it's like a Southern phrase, and it's something like, you never show up at somebody's house with your arms the same length. Have you ever heard that? Meaning you should have something in one of your hands, meaning show up with a gift. Make sense? So, like, whenever she goes on an appointment, she brings something to the prospect, right? Even if it's something like a scented candle, or, on the way, she's like, hey, I'm swinging by Starbucks on the way to the meeting. Can I grab you something? Right? Or just anything like that, where you can bring the person a small gift And let me tell you, no other realtor's doing that. None. And that's going to be a surprise and a delight. And it puts you on a different level, especially if they're interviewing additional agents. Does that make sense? Okay. Who else has done something like this? I think Ashley, you've done it.
Sure, Bill.
Right?
Yes,
Ashley,
I have.
tell us what you've done.
Well, I've done like at Thanksgiving last year, I brought pies to some clients and prospective clients. And other things I've done, just like small things, you know, if I get a referral or that kind of thing, I will, she's a good friend and a client, and she referred another friend of ours to me. And I also brought her, she had mentioned a pie company that she really liked. And I had never heard of it. I had to research it and find where it was, but I went and bought her a special pie that I knew she would like, and brought that over to her, just for giving me that referral.
Okay, gosh, thank you for sharing that. You brought up like 3 different points I want to talk about.
Okay.
So one is we have to have a system to appreciate the referral. We don't say thank you when we get paid, because the referral source cannot control that. They cannot control how motivated or how urgent or how qualified or any of that kind of stuff the referral is. You got to thank them for what they can control, which is the introduction in the first place. So the second you get a referral, we want to thank the person who gave us the referral in a unique and kind of sometimes over the top way, right? Hey, I just want to let you know that referrals are the lifeblood of my business, and I am incredibly grateful for you thinking about me, right? There are 45,000 agents out there, and I'm just so grateful that you thought of me, and I do not take that responsibility lightly, right? I am incredibly gracious for that, right? And maybe that sounds a little over the top, but it's emotional and people like that, okay? The other thing I wanted to say is that the only way that Ashley would have picked up on this particular brand or type of cake that this person liked, or pie, I'm sorry, is if she was listening, right? And so a lot of times we're too busy thinking about the next thing we're going to say to catch certain phrases like that, right? So in an effort to not be consumed with what we're going to say next, we have to do some work behind the scenes, which is get more comfortable with the questions, get more comfortable with the script, know the presentation better. And that will allow us to be fully engaged with our person, so we can pick up little things like that. Does that, y'all follow me on that? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. Who was the other person that wanted to share?
It was me, Bill. It's Markia.
Please.
So the way I was doing the surprise and delight, I did TIFF Treats. So I did the $50 memberships, and they always
tell us more about that, please.
Oh, TIFF Treats is a company. They have hot, fresh cookies that they deliver to pretty much any address that's around the local Atlanta area. And so I did an elite membership with them for $50. And whenever I have a client that I'm working with, I send it to their job. That way it's more exposure. And I'm just like, hey, thank you for choosing me to be a realtor. And I typically do it whenever I get a listing or a buyer brokerage agreement signed. So prematurely, whether it closed or not closed, it's pretty much the thought about it, just to say, hey, I appreciate you. And like I said, I try to do it not to the home, but if I know that they're in their work environment, I send it to their job just to get as much exposure as possible.
Gosh, that is so brilliant. So I'm gonna have to look up the membership. I didn't know they had a membership.
Yeah, they have free stuff all the time. Like it may have buy one, get one 50%. They'll have it's free delivery whenever you get the membership. And they may just have something, if it's nurse week, they'll say send a gift to a nurse or so, and you get it for free. So they always have a lot of perks with the elite membership. So it's worth the $50 to me.
Let me give you guys a hint. You know who loves TIFF Treats?
You.
Well, you don't have to give me anything. Melody, Aaron, Lee, they love it.
They're so good.
Yeah. And I just want to say, that's a system. Markia has systematized her surprise and delight.
That's right. That's exactly
which
right.
is amazing.
Exactly right. Guys, the sending it to the work. Oh my God.
What was the company? What was
Keep
the
getting
company?
smarter than that. That is just so good. Right?
Elsie, he put it in the chat,
In the
Elsie.
chat, yeah.
I put the name of the company in the chat. It's actually spelled a little weird. It's TIFF apostrophe S treats. I put it in the chat. So imagine you're in a work setting where there's a bunch of cubicles around and all that stuff, like your clients probably work in, right? And they get this big delivery and this package that looks all pretty, and it's hot cookies that smell. And all the other people that work nearby that person come over and say, well, who gave you that? What's that? And you're like, oh, that's my realtor. They're like,
And they posted on Instagram. They during that process, they try not to post or whatever, but they're like, oh my God, look what, whatever your name is. And so it's more exposure online as well too.
So brilliant. And all these people are like, my realtor's never done that before. Oh, really? Well, you should probably talk to Markia. She's awesome. See what I'm saying? Then they post it on Instagram and you get even more exposure. Do you guys see how, like, I don't mean to minimize the real estate part of being a realtor, but it's got very little to do with real estate, right? It's about taking care of your people and building relationships. Does that make sense?
I was going to say, this has nothing to do with real estate. It's just a different job. But when I worked for years in sales, like at the Weather Channel, and we would, on a day like this, maybe that it's raining, we'd send out umbrellas to our clients, just thinking about you, hopefully you have your umbrella, but if not, stay dry. You could easily do something like that. The umbrellas aren't that expensive, but if you had something, or if it was snowy, which is not normally here, but it might do something else. If it was, on a super hot day, you could send ice cream or
some fans or spray bottle or something.
Yeah, like those portable like clip-on fans, or just something. Obviously that was weather, so we made it kind of relevant to weather, but it's still relevant. Like you're thinking about them, and I could see how that could work in that way too.
So hopefully everyone's brain is spinning right now on the unique things that about the people in your world that you could potentially surprise and delight them. But your brain should also be thinking to myself, how do I systematize this? Right? So like, who do I order all that stuff from? Do I have all my information like templated in the message? Like, how can I get this down to the fact of, like, I can send Luth, my assistant, a message that says, hey, send Joe Schmo this, and it's done. She already knows exactly how to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I have a friend who, she's also a client, and she works for a promotional company, and we talk all the time about things to send clients, and she's very, very helpful. I'll be glad to share her name with anybody. But one of the things she sent me recently is you can get these seed cards, and that you can get your business card that looks like a seed card. You can get a regular card, and people can plant them, and things grow from them. It's really cool, and they're very inexpensive. And then she was sharing with me, because I was talking with her about, I want to send things to clients. And she said, Candace, every year for my birthday, there's somebody who sends me a birthday pen. And she goes, it's the littlest thing, but she said, I look so forward to that birthday pen. And she said, and I use that pen all the time, and it reminds me of them all the time. Every year I get a new one. And she said, it's just brilliant. So I thought that was pretty incredible too. But you could buy like 100 of these little seed cards for $5. I mean, it's incredible. And then there's a $50 setup.
I'm just, there's so many things that are going on in my head right now on how to take care of your people, right? Yeah. You could do literally anything. It's anything that is just a little bit beyond what would be expected, or a little bit beyond what is considered typical. Like, let me give you another example. So,
hey, Bill, I just have like a really quick question for Markia.
Yeah.
Do you only send those to like all your referrals and all of your everything, or do you only send those cookies to like specific people?
I actually bought five $50 gift cards, and I have these postcards from Note Card Cafe that I send to my referrals, and I'll put a handwritten note and send a $10 Starbucks gift cards for referrals.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Another example is, so we're all on Facebook probably and LinkedIn, and they send out, it'll say like so-and-so's birthday, right? So like the bottom level of giving that attention, so to speak, is to ignore it, right? Be like, oh, I'm distracted, I'm busy, I don't care about it. And it just doesn't happen at all. The next laziest way to handle it is just to click like. A step further would be to actually say happy birthday, right? A step further would be to, maybe say happy birthday with an emoji that doesn't, like, it's not like a pre-written, like you could say like click here to say happy birthday, and all the things say happy birthday and that's it. So it's pretty obvious that you just clicked one button rather than actually writing a message. So can you write a unique message that just shares something that you love about your relationship with that person, or you admire about that person, or something like that? Another step further would be to call them. Another step further would be to video text them. Another step further would be print out all the birthdays and basically shift them all up 2 or 3 days. So if Candace's birthday, let's say, is this Friday, it's not, right?
Mm-mm.
Let's say your birthday was this Friday, just for discussion purposes. I've got a list of all the birthdays coming up of my people, and I call Candace today and say, hey, Candace, I just wanted to be the very first person to say happy birthday, right? I just love, how happy you are and how grateful you are and how you're such an abundant thinker. I love watching your Facebook messages. I just wanted to be the first person to wish you happy birthday. You having a great day?
Yeah, now I am.
Beautiful. Right. So how can you separate yourself from all the other things that are going to be relatively lazy? Does that make sense? See, it's not even her birthday. It's not even 3 days before her not even birthday, and I've already cheered her up for the day. Seriously? Okay, who else has some ideas or some questions? I know this is probably a relatively new idea for some of you guys. What is going through your mind right now?
So for the, and I'm going to just jump in, for those who are doing luxury or want to get into luxury, one of the things that I did like 1 or 2 times when I was working with really high-end buyers is I would rent a town car with a driver and we would go in the back of the car, and I would show up because we used to take people in our car, and I would show up in the town car, and the driver would open the door for them, and it was impressive.
That's
so
cool.
You could take it all over the top.
That's cool. I like that. You guys know Jason Abrams, who was, he's the president of industry for KWRI or KWX, I guess. He did a lot of the talking from the stage on Mega Camp. You know what I'm talking about?
It's funny.
Him and his partner, whose name is Brian Gubernick, who's a mega agent OP out of Scottsdale area. Their business model about 10 years ago, they had a lot of connections with sports agents, right? And so, for example, let's say the NBA draft happened, and now you got a star player that's going to go play in Phoenix, and a star player that's going to go play in Dallas, and a star player that's going to go play in Chicago or whatever, right? They knew all the agents. And so their job was they'd have somebody on the ground, an agent in, let's say, Chicago. The Chicago agent would, scour the marketplace for the best homes that were on the market, according to what this athlete wanted. And then Jason and Brian would fly into the airport, pick them up in a limo, and show them around like 3 or 4 homes. They'd put in an offer and they'd run off to the next city to do the same thing. So like, Ebony, you're like, scratch this crap. That's what I want to do, right?
It's fun.
You can do whatever you want. Just think about how big you want it, or what, do exactly what you want to do. If you want it, you know, what do they say? I posted this in the group the other day. It's like, if you're tired of starting over, then stop quitting. Makes sense?
Another thing is I was working with people who wanted to buy a house on a lake. So I arranged for them to have a lake tour in a pontoon boat. And they remember that day. I mean, they still talk about that day. And we went and saw some homes, and then we went on a lake tour. It was fun. It makes real estate fun to do those things, and it's not that expensive. I mean, for when you're expecting a $40,000 or $50,000 commission from a high-end home, spending a couple $100, $300 or $400 doesn't mean anything. And town car is really not that expensive at all. I mean, really.
Yeah, that is so cool. You know, while we can go high-end, we can also go a lot less expensive. And it oftentimes is just as sentimental.
Like the birthday pen.
Yeah, absolutely. Or some chocolate chip cookies or a Starbucks or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to share something they've done or comment on how this type of thing has impacted their clients and their clients' attitude?
I can share mine. I don't think it's as impressive, but
don't start off like that.
No, those are things from the past, Drew. I don't do those right now. Mm-hmm. So it was a different time, and you know, I mean, so it's just throwing those out for ideas for anybody who.
Yeah.
My goal is to help everybody think big, so that when you have an opportunity, you know some things. But
yeah. No offense, Drew, but don't say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Say, oh, this isn't as cool as somebody else.
Talk about town cars and boat tours, and
okay, but you got a different experience.
Come on, Bill.
Don't compare yourself to her.
I also make Christmas cookies and deliver them at Christmas, which costs like a dime.
Skydiving.
Because if I'm
onto the house,
if I'm a listener and you're like, oh well, this idea is not as good as the last one, then I'm going to go to the bathroom or
I got you.
or something.
Drew, at least you're doing something and you got the clients. Like that's awesome that you're doing that.
Yeah, and you're on the call, and you're speaking up.
Yeah,
and I want to hear what you're doing, because I might not have thought of it.
Okay, let's all give Drew the floor.
So when I used to cold call, it was a dark time in my past when I was cold calling. I actually met this absentee owner. He was having problems with his tenant, and he couldn't get the tenant out of the house. She wasn't paying her monthly bill, so he was taking on that. So he was thinking that he was going to have to start going through the eviction process. So I don't know why I thought of it, but I just wanted to tell him good luck, you know, through the whole eviction process. So I went and bought a whole bunch of scratch-off tickets, and I mailed it to him, and I said good luck with the you know, however it goes. And that was
I like that.
I love that.
So.
Yeah, don't minimize that. It's a great idea.
It's a great idea.
Plus, if he won, he'll never forget you.
Yeah, did he win?
Well, he's still in the eviction process right now. So.
Oh, I meant for the lottery tickets.
Oh yeah, I'm assuming he did it, but
you know, another thing
for a little bit of that, he did.
I was once in a class with Gene Rivers. This is a long time ago, and he at the time, I'd say this number is probably about still accurate. He said, think about every single person in your database, every single one of them. And if they own a home that at the time he said was $350,000 or more, then you should call them up, or then you should mail them or ask to meet them and give them a copy of the Millionaire Real Estate Investor book. Say, you know, 75% of the country's wealth is tied up in real estate. And as your real estate resource and real estate advisor, it is my duty to make sure you can capitalize on these opportunities too. So this is my gift to you. And I'm going to call you in a month after you've read it, and we're going to sit down with your family and talk about our particular strategy. Does that sound fair? What if you went and bought a case of those? Think you could get yourself an appointment?
I actually just sent that to someone yesterday, and we're going out tomorrow to look at a place. But
that's a good turnaround. Tell us more about that, please.
Well, she actually, because you said it last week or something, I think it was, you said, if you're talking to people that aren't, and they don't want to buy or sell, then you should talk to them either about refinancing or they should think about investing.
Yeah.
And I realized I have a lot of friends that have a lot more money than I do right now. And I'm like, they're not investing, or some people have a vacation home or something. And I thought, you know what, I got to learn more about that. So I did. I ordered several copies of that book. And then a friend, she happened to reach out to me. She wouldn't have been my top target. And she recently was divorced. She's now like living on her own in a townhome kind of thing. She's like, well, she actually said, what do you think about this place? Should I think about investing? I'm like, of course, you definitely should. And let's talk about it. And I went on Amazon and just ordered another one because it could be delivered the next day and I'd get it to her even faster. But she really wants to see a place, which I don't think is going to be a great, now that I've researched it some, it's not probably the best thing for her, tomorrow, but she's definitely wants to get into it. And we're going to talk about it more. But now because I've reached out to some other people and I'm like, have you thought about investing? Like, well, I don't really know much about it. So part of and this is a whole off topic, but
this is not off topic. This is perfect.
I'm thinking, you know what? There's a lot of people that are interested in this. I'm like frantically reading the book now myself. And I did a bunch of research yesterday, just trying to get myself more educated. But like, if I could figure out how to have a seminar for people on how to do this, then that would probably be a great service to people. But I don't know where or how to do that. But that's my thinking, because there's a lot of people that are interested. They're like, yeah, I just don't know what to do.
Oh, that's
what I think is going to be that could really be a whole nother thing. I just got to figure out how to set that up and how to educate people. But yes, giving them that book and getting them some education.
Man, you guys are really impressing me today. Okay, a couple of cool things for you, Ryan. Number one is you can go to kellerinc.com. I just posted the link in the chat. kellerinc.com.
Okay.
And you can buy any of the books: Millionaire Real Estate Agent, Millionaire Real Estate Investor, Shift, Hold, Our First Home, the commercial book, any of that. And you can buy them in bulk. You can buy them, I think, in cases of 10 for a little bit of a discount. That's the first thing. I haven't looked this up in a little while. I'll look it up today. But there's also all kinds of like collateral and course books on exactly what you're talking about, is leading a seminar on like the Shift book, or leading a seminar on the Millionaire Real Estate Investor book. So it has like handouts for the people that attend. It has, like worksheets where you can run budget models and all kinds of stuff. So a lot of those resources are already in place. I will spend a couple minutes today looking for that. And share it with everybody.
It's probably on Connect.
Yeah, that's the first place I would look. That's the kind of thing, guys, where like, guys, even if it was like 2 or 3 people that attended a seminar and you showed them, how the numbers work and, what real estate investing can do. I mean, guys, let me think about a good example of this. So, I have a client that just sold for $435,000 in East Cobb. And I helped him buy the home not even 4 years ago for $305,000. He made $130,000 in less than 4 years and didn't do anything to the house. It was in worse shape than when I helped him buy it.
So where did he go? Like, did he use that money, being that the market is kind of flip-flop? Like, to where
this particular guy moved to like Noonan or something. I don't really know anything about the market there. I referred it away.
So he was able to probably keep a substantial amount of, okay, cool.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah.
Okay. And Bill, will you let me share the screen? Because I just want to show something that I just want to show.
All right, you're good.
This is, if you haven't been in here, this is a place where you can get a lot of resources. And I went to my KW first. If I can get my cursor to behave.
Yeah, there we go. Keller Inc.
Okay, that's Keller Inc. But if I go to mykw.kw.kw.
Look how busy Candace is. Oh my gosh. You need another computer screen.
I know. Well, I have it at work. Okay, so I go to education. And right here, this takes me to KW Connect. There's all kinds of different things here. And I just was looking at this, guides and checklists, downloadable resources. Here's a 66-day challenge to learn how to get started with Command. There's all kinds of things in here. So make sure you spend some time. Here's Structure Your Day for Success. Here's the KW Shift Book Club Study Guide. So you could even do like the MREA book. You could do a Millionaire Real Estate Investor Book Club. And then you're connecting with those people every single week instead of just once.
Right. So these are things that you could post on your social media and say, hey, we're going to be doing a Zoom session on the Millionaire Real Estate Investor, right? And maybe you could invite a financial planner. Maybe you could invite a CPA. Maybe you could invite a insurance agent, right? And have them, promote the event to their group, right? Their sphere. Right, because if 75% of the country's wealth is tied up in real estate, which by the way, you should let that sink in for a second, right? Don't you think financial advisors should be talking about real estate? Don't you think CPA should be talking about real estate? And if so, who's their guy, right? It should be you. Does that make sense? So some new client comes in for a financial advisement meeting and the financial advisor looks at their portfolio and says, hey, you don't own enough real estate. Right? You need to talk to my guy, Bill. Does that make sense? What do you need?
Back to surprise and delight. If you know people are animal lovers.
Yeah, in just one second. Just one second. Do you want to say hi really fast? Look at all these people I have on the call. You can say hi.
I'm hungry.
Okay, I'm going to take care of you in 1 second.
I'm getting sweaty. I'm wearing 2 masks.
Okay.
Here's some food, Bill.
I'm still waiting on my COVID test. Both kids are negative, thank God. But
thank goodness.
I'll be in later.
Good. So back to surprise and delight. If you know somebody, if you've gotten to know them and you know that they are a dog lover or a cat lover or something like that, you can just bring treats with you. And that touches their heart because you've touched what people are crazy about animals like I am. Anything you do for my animals, oh my goodness, you're my best friend.
Love that. Love that. Was today helpful, you guys?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Incorporate the tip streets. I think that's cool. The whole sending it to their workplace is that's brilliant. So
that's the mic drop.
Top 3 ideas of the day right there for sure.
I want to mention something really, really quickly. Flip it. And if you know someone in your sphere who has a small business, I have a friend who does a small business making candles and jewelry. And I support her business by using them as closing gifts, and I have them customized to the property. So you're not giving something, but you're using them, and that is in my opinion, a surprise and delight as well.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Another good one. Like, Greta, can you post your friend's website or some information about them, please?
I'd love to. Thank you.
Not in here, but in the main chat.
Yes.
Okay, and there's a really cool vendor that does that paints the picture of the house, right? And you give that as a closing gift. I mean, there's all kinds of really cool, unique things that you can do. Yeah. Lisa, did you want to add anything?
Me?
And
I just saw your square light up.
Oh, no. I'm just listening. Thank you.
I got something to add for you guys real quick. The Millionaire Real Estate books, you can get both of them on Audible so they can be read to you while you're driving or anything like that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. By the way, if you're not in a position, 1 second, please. 1 second. If you're not in a position to order a case of books or something like that, then maybe partner up with somebody and you can get it, you can buy a couple, all together. I'm just happy that you guys are we've raised the participation marker for today's call, and I'm very grateful for that. You guys have really, really been impressive with a lot of the efforts that you've done thus far. And I'm super excited to hear about how you're going to be surprising and delighting your people in the future. So I got a task for you. Your job is to surprise and delight one person today. Okay? Go do something for somebody you know that is a little bit beyond what would be typical or expected, and then share with the group how it happened and what you did. Is that cool?
And
Yes.
and I'm just gonna say, it can be a handwritten card that tells something nice about them, that you could drop off to them. It doesn't have to be that you buy something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys, enjoy your day. Appreciate your time today.
Before we go, wait. Bill.
What, Ebony?
So today, I joined a little late. Is Kona being postponed?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We will be, we're going to postpone that just primarily because of the weather. And we will let you guys know as soon as we're able to put it back on the schedule. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
Okay.